Growing Empire, 200 metres to go, shown the whip. First Settler's going to give it a race though. Growing Empire extends a length and a half. First Settler, it heard it coming and extends about a length and 3/4 and Growing Empire wins.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. J Dubs is back in the building, which is good to see. Looking fresh, fit.
Why have you got a hat on, mate?
Because I've just done the sports show and Scoot Shady's just having a little bit of a break. But yeah, Hawks got beaten by Port Adelaide.
Oh,
I haven't got much of it left, but it actually looks worse in person. But yeah, going for the bleach.
You deserve worse when I'm out for a week and you tip. You know what? Storm Boy, fair enough, right? Good, but Jolly Star to beat Winks.
Well, what happened was I think they've both had a barrier trial. We've got Wallet and Gade.
It's like Muhammad Ali versus John Walter, Sunshine in Paris versus Jolly Star. What are you talking about anyway? Well, I'll make sure I don't leave you two alone again to tip the $4 all up.
Well, we just scrambled. I think it was like a 20 or 30 minute heads up. We panicked. I hadn't really got through much of Sydney, but yeah, I'll wear it. But I still think both of them had somewhat of a trial. Storm Boy leading on the barriers is one thing, and I still think Jolly Star can turn the table. That's one of the biggest wallaby jobs I've seen in my life. He is playing games a lot, young Christopher. He's very shifty.
You give him much more credit than he deserves.
Who?
That camp. Oh, my God.
Beautiful. Good to have Walt back. He hasn't lost any of his zest for racing. What about you, DK and Nico?
Yeah, Scoot. Yeah, no. No surprise you're wearing a hat there. Just seeing that little bit. What I saw there looks pretty rude to me. Looks like he should be going to one of those P. Diddy freak-offs or something like that, I reckon.
Oh.
Anyway, still on there.
I think he's in his WhatsApp group.
Nico,
what about the other big talking point of the week's Mark having the hole-in-one for 10,000? It's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. How lucky is it? MG? Yeah, he's got the $10,000 check, and he had to walk, where the office is in City Road. He had to walk the big $10,000 check back from the Docklands. He's got all these toots on the horn, and he was a bit embarrassed. So yeah, MG's hit a 90-metre hole-in-one in the Docklands Future Golf. So I think he's got it off your man, Aussie from Resimax.
Yes. I just got the rundown from Mark there downstairs, and I said it was quite underwhelming because he put the video up of having the shot. Then you're thinking a hole-in-one. It's going to be something like Andy Miles on the front bar where they hit it and then they've charged up the green 100 mile an hour and all that. All I see is this little punch from the kid, and then he turns around and says, hello, there's 10,000. Hello. So it was a tad underwhelming, but not for him because he got the 10K. But
you got to understand, DK, it's all about levels, mate. 10K's a lot to you and I. For him, he just puts it on the pile, mate.
That's it. There he goes. Winner for him.
No, so that's a good result there. But tell you what, last Thursday afternoon, some massive news dropped. RV's made some changes. So Aaron Morrison's been there for 5 minutes, and he hasn't really. He's been, I guess, COO for a while, and he's finally started to listen to all the feedback from the bookies. So the changes confirmed are going to be a simplified race field model. So that's good. So it means that TopSport and some of the bookies can take on customers. So if they've got big lumpy customers, they can bet them and not worry about one or two bad days. So they're starting to line up with RQ, which is great. Race field fees on free bet turnover is going to be abolished, which is good. Single race field fee rate for all meetings, another big win. Fixed rates for on-course bookies, another big tick, and then a replacement of the current threshold discount structure with new graduated structures. So that's another big tick. So this basically everything that we've been talking about for the last, feels like 18 months, is starting to get turned around, which is brilliant. And the other one is some more support for sophisticated punters. So if anyone wants to use a robot and sort of fight fire with fire against the other bookies, just for a convenience tool, I think there'll be more benefit for us punters because the WSPs, the bookies, they've got robots. So I think it's fair enough that we do it as long as it's not malicious, which is a big win. And the other one is the MBLs with multiple brands operating different skins. So, for example, if you've got a Ladbrokes or a Neds account and they're sitting out there, they want to take a run and let's call it a $5 chance. The rest of the market's $4.80. It's been infuriating. You get on to win 2,000 and then you can't go knock it off at Neds. But that'll change on the 6th of October. you'll be able to bet with your Neds, your Ladbrokes, and all the Amuse group have got 5 or 6 different betting brands. You'll get 2 bites or 6 bites or however many brands these big operations have got. You can all of a sudden bet multiple places, which has been great because I know when I was betting with Ladbrokes and Neds, my account got shut, and I did my best yesterday and tried to slip one on, and I think it took them 20 minutes to close my account again. So I've been told that on the 6th of October, it's happy days for that. So, that news dropped after last week's show, but it's a big step in the right direction. It'll be interesting to see what effect that has on the market, but Tristan's still running his forecasting for the next sort of 6 or 12 months and going to see how much it'll turn the dial based on historical figures. But he was pretty rapt, and it'll be interesting to see if bookies are back up and rolling again. What do you think of it all, DK? It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, spot on, Scoot. And just back to what you said then, I wonder how it'll flow onto the market. That was my biggest thing. So Morrison said any reduction in costs for wagering operators would ultimately flow back to the market. Would it? Will it? Or, I know Tristan's keen to pump that side of things. I don't know how many others are. I think they'd more like to attach it to their bottom line than back to the market, especially when they've got, and the multiple brands was one, Scoot. So I can't see Amused betting you to win 10,000 MBL. So they're going to, they'll have the quant skies or something. They'll try and work a trick out there somewhere. It'll be interesting to see how they combat it, whether they put everyone on intercept and then they've laid it on the other brand or turned it off. It'll be very interesting to see how that stuff happens. But no, it's in the right direction. Particularly, we want people betting on the Victorian product. He's saying he's trying to encourage the wagering service providers are the wagering advertisers for the industry. They want the product front and centre on their web pages, drive people into it. So it's found a bit of balance there, but no, all in the right direction. He said he'd been working on it for 18 months, 2 years. That's his wheelhouse, Aaron Morrison. That's the stuff he was doing beforehand. So, that's what I said last week. We've got a chance because he's in the chair, and we've got a chance because Jason Scott's in the chair. So there's a chance. What do you reckon, Nico?
Yeah, I think it's good. Just any more sort of a more competitive nature is great for the sport, isn't it? So if that drives that, then I think it's definitely a good thing down here in Victoria.
I'm more DK's line. As in, listen to bookies, yes, but do they pass it on to punters? Highly unlikely. Or is it just going to be more promos, which the tax, like the relief on turnover for free bets, allows them to do? So to me, I don't think it helps us in any way in that regard. Robots makes absolutely no difference to us. The only thing it does is allow a few people with decent databases to knock off the early prices quicker and knock their markets back into shape a little bit quicker. Again, don't think that really helps us. I'd rather see relief for relief. So relief of tax for more competitive prices, like Nico's saying, but actually have it that way rather than just hoping that they pass on, bottom line relief to the punter, which I think DK said pretty well. It's just not going to happen. Tristan will want to be more price competitive, but he'd probably be one out.
But that's good. That'll force others to be more competitive.
No, it won't.
Has to.
It won't because they don't care. They don't care. They've got their clients that they all put in the drawer. They just assume that everyone they've got in their database is going to cop whatever they throw at them and continue to. So they've got no interest in being competitive from a price perspective.
Sportsbet's shown that recently, haven't they? Well, I saw a tweet from I think it was Sam Kennedy or something said Sportsbet are worst odds now. Worst odds. Because they've got the big database with the free bets and everything. So we don't need to be top of the market.
And we saw in those Group 1s over the autumn and even last spring, they were putting up, horses that went up $2, $1.70. They were trying to just get all the multis and that flowing into them straight away. So they're clearly happy to go way under the market price, especially in those big races, just to try and lure the punters in that probably don't have as much clue as a few others.
And some big corporates were seeding Betfair too, making sure those odds looked attractive too to people who look at Betfair as well. It was definitely playing a few games with those shorter price things, which is, it's all fair in love and war, but they're not going to pass anything on to us unless it's literally in black and white. And, we're still not seen as anything too exciting, but I'd still like to see a lot more relief for Betfair for us.
That was mentioned in the dialogue as well. So
that's a good step for sure. I don't know what level it gets to, and I think it was only for a certain... Well, that was, what do you say, more astute punters, whatever. It'll be interesting. But the problem is with that, again, because our turnover, or most people's turnover, drops so much, your Betfair turnover drops naturally as well. So it's hard to sort of ramp everything else up because you need to line everything up. Well, that's me personally. But, it's good. At least he's open to it. It scares me that it's been 2 years in the making and and this is all he comes up with, to be fair from a punter's perspective, but hopefully it's a good start.
Yeah. What about on Tristan's? I mean, you probably know, you've been sort of going on a bit what Tristan's been after with a lot of this stuff, Scoot. I mean, it seems a lot of it would hopefully appeal to sort of a business like his that we've been trying to kick up for.
I'd say 100%, and I think Betfair are better off. I think Tristan will be better off. There's a couple of other brands out there, sort of like a Boom Bet and some of the smaller price-driven operators. I think all of a sudden we've probably got maybe 5 or 6 places to play with less percentage in the market and more opportunities. I think you can see products like Top Fluck and Best the Best start to move their way back into the marketplace, which gives us more options. It opens up the betting window. So, yeah, I'm a little bit more optimistic than you boys sound about it, definitely. And I reckon it's a big opportunity, a massive step in the right direction, and even just some tiered thresholds, like to try and get bookmakers to stay under the $1 million profit mark seemed pretty ridiculous. But now you've got someone like Tristan who can have a better stepping stone at a more smooth tax rate, so he can naturally grow his business and he can put more incentive to customers. He can put more content out there. It looks like Ladbrokes and Ned's, the Entain group, are starting to promote New Zealand harness racing and twisting the dial there. And as soon as these tax changes can happen on certain products, bookies can turn around in the back of their system and get more recreational money and offer different incentives and create more liquidity and more certainty in their prices. So they can turn the dial, and they can turn the dial from a pricing point of view and more content and get more eyeballs on the sport. So bookies are the big promoters of the game, and it's funny when you hear guys like Mick Kent's young fella Michael Kent come out and say, "Oh, we need more, trainer content and all this sort of stuff." And I've been speaking to BZ and how good I thought the Clinton McDonald stuff was, but that's the problem. Not all the jockeys want to do it, not promote it. Where having worked for Betfair, obviously been working with TopSport and things like that, the things that drive turnover is shows like ours, pre-written content, all the stuff in the rearview mirror, and things that happen post-race. That doesn't really turn the dial. People want to be told who to bet, what to bet, and they need help because it is so complex. And
why as well, not just a snippet, exactly,
why.
Yeah.
So I think at Betfair we did some analysis, and I think it was like 10 times more valuable for us to do content sort of pre-race and before rather than do a review show on a Monday or Tuesday. Like, there just wasn't any good ROI, and people didn't care. They just wanted to get onto the next thing and try and figure out what was the next big race to bet on. So I think it's really positive, and I just hope that the trainers and some of the racetracks sort of get on board and try and move the needle and try and incentivize punters to do more stuff. Like, it's I think it's great news from Aris Morrison, and I've been really critical over the last sort of 18 months, but I finally feel that we've sort of hit rock bottom. And as a business owner and someone who's got decent amount of money sort of invested the game, it's a breath of fresh air for me because, the last 18 months has been bloody tough. And, I'm a believer again, I guess, in the Victorian racing product, which is welcome news. So, yeah, that's sort of my take on it. But the other big news is the Rosehill Enquiry got wrapped up. It was the final day of hearings. It was more government and industry type people that spoke about the brick pit and a couple of other welfare sort of issues. Debbie Press, I thought, handled herself pretty well. She was pretty passionate. And there's the growing chorus of ATC members that have to put a motion, I guess, to the board. And I think Peter McGoran's sort of in the gun as the head of the ATC. So he might be a bit of cannon fodder, or he might be a victim of the Rosehill Enquiry. But, Walt, have you heard anything? Is it enough to stifle and stop the sale from what you've seen, or do you think it's just going to be bulldozed through and it's a done deal? Regardless, obviously the members have to vote, but what happens now, or what do you think will happen? Because I think they will vote it down no, but is there any way that New South Wales and the government can stymie
We'll
that?
soon find out if we were right and there's a loophole and it's all irrelevant.
Yeah.
But obviously the inquiry's opened up a lot more, Pandora's box-wise. And, I loved people like Debbie Press coming on and just being raw. She also had a lot of information to back it up, which was important too. Like not just hollow sort of issues that she was trying to raise. She sort of had a lot behind it, a lot of first-hand knowledge, and it was great to see people like her have the courage to get up and talk about things from the Rosehill track itself. Yeah, like as we kind of, the other feel you got from the Rosehill Enquiry, it doesn't really matter if Peter McGoran goes because there's another 8 of Peter McGoran unless they find someone from left field to replace him. If it's someone else from the board, it's probably just going to be another similar situation. So, yeah, there's a lot come out of it. From a Rosehill track perspective, Sale, we will find out whether it was all decided prior and all this has been a bit of a show and they had a loophole that can sort of push it through, because I would be in shock if the ATC membership, as you said, allow it to go through if they have the say.
It's an interesting tweet from Mark Latham yesterday, and it said that Racing New South Wales haven't complied with an SO52, which is freedom of information. So he thinks that a showdown is going to loom because they've got there's a Parliamentary Evidence Act. So they're trying to get more information off the back of the inquiry, and Racing New South Wales have shut their doors. So it's interesting. He does cite Greyhound Racing New South Wales as a in comparison, and they complied with the request. But Racing New South Wales are still a closed shop. So you
can feel it's personal with Mark, but you can feel he's also pushing for transparency.
Exactly.
And I think that's what everyone wants.
Exactly. So still a bit to play out there, and make sure you head to the straight and catch up with all that news. Nico, one of your favourites, Vauban, has come out and run a super race in the Irish St Ledger. You were pretty, what's the word, scathing, or you're pretty critical of him in the yard last Melbourne Cup. But what did you make of his second behind Kyprios in the Irish St Ledger, and have you cast your eye over the Cup weights, and does anything give you a little bit of a tickle?
Yeah, I've had a good look through the Cup weights, but I thought seeing him in the yard last year, I thought he might be a horse that would improve with another run here. So maybe him coming here again, similar sort of profile. If he presents like he did last year, they have no chance of winning. So, he ran well, but he's got to translate to Australia. So, yeah, that'd sort of be my advice. If you're looking to back him, maybe if he has a run here, that'd be suited, but you'd probably think not. But, off the Cup weights, Point Kings, I think, into third favourite now after winning the Archer. I think Berkshire Breeze is definitely the horse to take out of that race. If he settled closer, he would have won. So, off that, I still think he's probably a horse that has a chance. He might win the Bart Cummings and work his way in, but I don't know. It seems like a bit of a thin year at the moment. There's a bit of talk around some of the internationals, but looking through the order of entry, there's probably 20 horses that are within the first sort of 40 or 50 that look like they won't even run. So, it could be a bit of a thin year.
I think there's some really good opportunity in that race. I thought Warmonger was pretty good last week in the slot.
Talking about barrier trials, it's never always going to be. It wasn't as if they were soft on it, but it was a lovely pipe opener.
One of the better trials. All right, we can get stuck into some of today's show. Donnie was good last week. Pope Cody won by 5. He's back in business. Growing Empire. I'm surprised you don't have a Growing Empire cap. Nico, you're head cheerleader in the fan club there. And
what was the drift about? Did it have its old fella out like linebacker or something? I couldn't understand it.
No, definitely wasn't yard inspired. It was pre that. So I saw Kingsley sort of making a good case for a few horses around him. So maybe, some of the bigger data teams and that saw something that he saw as well, because he was probably like, the price did get out a fair bit in the end. Maybe it was the career on the wet track. He didn't seem like he loved it, DK, but he did really come away from first settler late.
Yeah, no, he's a ripping horse, isn't he? So straight to the Coolmore for him. Does he have another run?
No, he's gone to the Danehill. So it'll be a similar sort of race down the straight, and then I would have thought whether they go the Everest or Everest and Coolmore after that.
He looks too green for an Everest, doesn't he?
I wouldn't be taking him to
only just greenness, that's all. But he still has no clue and keeps putting them away. Maybe they'll put him in, maybe a fast tempo and big race will bring out the best of him. But you think it's just worth too much money. The Coolmore's got to come up light, surely.
Crikey! After Saturday, I'm more excited about this horse. Like, he ticked the wet track box, and I think he's a mile off of where he could be. So, I got a bit of a stiffy for that horse. But as you mentioned, Berkshire Breeze, it got snagged. DK, you copped a frosty snag, Green Zinger Sun. I copped a Jay Orman snag with Tribeca Star. Gosh, some of these jockeys just love pulling them out and race over, isn't it?
Well, what still wasn't too much of a concern because it did get back in that position first up, but it just didn't pan out. Like it can pan out. It panned out perfectly for Bishin on the Carnival first starter. He just said, and after the race, his eyes went so smoothly for me, just smooth through, gap open on the turn, sprinted. Poor old D Lane, he had horses outside him. He had to go 6 wide on the turn while Bishin pinched 2 lengths, then had the temerity to charge after it. Well, it was a terrific run. It's a nice horse, that horse, but it just, sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't, and it just panned out perfect for the winner and didn't for D Lane. So that's what happens sometimes.
Mr. B saved our bacon, Nico. We're both lined up on that one. Run down Pride of Jenny. Tony Otto Bray didn't grace himself back onto the Twitter circuit. But once the heavens opened, he's an absolute mudlark. So it was more confidence there for the Mr. B camp, and just reminded everyone that Craig Williams can still ride, and that horse is still pretty good. And Via Sistine is just another Sydney myth. J-Dubs.
Yeah, heavy track. The jury's out of it, isn't it? Geez, everyone's gone while the second up. Oh, everything that runs while the second up. And oh my God, then you see the wars between the Wombats on Twitter about, anyway, whatever, it's not even worth talking about. But yeah, it was, I think the track was certainly very favourable if you're up there and rolling. And that sort of brought Pride of Jenny back in, but his win was really good. And yeah, jury out a little bit on Via Sistina, but I'd be very scared about putting the line through her.
What do you think her ideal
further.
distance is?
Pardon me? Yeah, I think 2,000 plus 2,400.
Oh,
yep.
It's Turnbull will tell the tale there, won't it, with her?
100%.
TopSport Steamers went 2 from 4. So Point King and Mr. Brightside saved their bacon. Best of the best at TopSport and Top Flux. So they got some products that other bookies don't offer. And yeah, Tristan will be starting to roll out more. The other thing is, I think there's going to be some decent deals with a couple of the PRAs at the moment. I think off the back of the Backing the Punt conference at the end of last week, a lot of them are petrified about the government and their social media crackdown. So PRAs are going to have to start being a little bit creative. So I think bookies will be getting some sweeteners to try and entice turnover and some products back on the shelf. So probably should have mentioned that in the opener. But what you can do is bet Australian and bet with TopSport. So make sure you open up an account with topsport.com.au and you can take advantage of some of those bet and forget options. So Top Fluck and Best of the Best, which I like, especially if you've got kids and weekend sport. You can just bet and come back to the race later and you'll secure that top price. Ballarat, race 3 on Friday, DK, is where you're going to have a swing early. It's the Peter Tobin Funerals Maiden Plate Handicap over 1,400 metres. Sir Kenny's the first starter here, 480 favourite. Wide open market here. Royal Infantry, $6. British Poet, 7. Shakelts, $8. All Kinds of Folk, $8.50 in from 9. And then you got Jenny, Maddie, Lynn, another Tony horse. And then Hawkshaw, $12. Superluminal, 13. And She's in Denial, $13 also. But the horse that you like here had its first start at Benalla, All Kinds of Folk. John Ledger horse in the orange and blue.
No, actually, it's not in the orange and blue. It's in blue and white. Just peel white. Yeah, different colours. Looks like the sort of Mick Price colours, but lighter blue. Gets home good here. This is not a bad little race. This is a Godolphin first starter from a Maroney odds on chance and a Mar horse, so it's probably not a bad race for a Benalla maiden. And I like its strength here, as people know my wheelhouse. This strength here, then through the line. Then for that kept rolling. Then he's up outside the leader. That was 1,200 on debut. So he goes to Ballarat, 1,400, lovely. I mean, I love these things that up in trip on a bigger track. Things that give me strength late in a race. Yes, so the problem is the ledgers. I'm glad Nico hasn't got the laptop here, going to punch in the strike rate from them on the punting form database because it's horrific. But they do have a lot of camera. They've got a lot of goats. And they trial them up front. They speedy squibs and they just don't perform race day. I think they've taken this horse along differently. I think they've got a half a nice one here. He's a lot kinder, a lot gentler in his trials. Went to Coral, a trial, he just trucked up behind him. I think this is one with a bit of talent. So up in trip. In an even race, British Poet gets the blinkers on off underperforming. He's deep first prep. Sir Kenny's first starter for price. He looks like he wants the 1,400. He's just looks like a one pacer is going to get up front and whack away. Royal Infantry resumes. Geez, I called it, my video comment for it last start was Dingo. So it resumes. It might have been a bit harsh. I went to the paddock after that, might have had an issue, but jury's out on it. So look, Scoot, there was 3 maidens here. It was 4-1 the field in all of them. And race 1 and race 2 had about 9 first starters in each. So I've sort of looked just going for a bit of value in this 1400 and came up with this. But this time of the year is a bit tricky because the first starters we saw last week at Geelong, Nico. First starter won that first race in the McKenna colours. Then a Freedman first starter won. And then the Kennywell first starter beat me. So it's a sort of some nice first starters let go this time of year. So they're up to 1400s. There's less chance of that happening. But I like it. Second up, 1400. I think this will settle midfield and show some strength late and run a race at a price.
And there's a few sort of horses in there that of the first starters are bred to get over this distance range even further. There's a few Justifiers and a Shocking and a few others in there. So that not like they're the sharpest horses looking at their breeding. Could just be, one where if you've had a run, you might just be better late.
That's it. And I like that the further you push it out in distance is the less chance of the first starters beating you. There's less of them and they've got less turn of foot and stuff like that. The other one here that's a little bit of interest is, and the other one, I like them with the run under the boundary, is Superliminal.
Yeah, this was the one that sort of piqued my interest looking at the race.
Superliminal. $2.7 million yearling.
Out of Anaheed.
Anaheed. She won a group. What'd she win? She won a group 2 or something, didn't she? By Invincible. I don't fancy their chances of maybe even getting 5% of that purchase price back with this, but it had a look around on debut, 1100. Had the jump out in between. Now it goes to 1400 on the nice big track. So and it's going to be good odds. So I like the ones with the runs under the belt. So I thought sort of maybe if you're going to play one, don't lose or have something on the other one as well. But yes, we'll go those ones. Scooty, Superliminal, all kinds of folk and Superliminal.
So that's Friday Belter at 3, number 13, all kinds of folk, and 16 is the saver, Superliminal. So nice little value hunting Friday, and as usual, beware any market moves. On Saturday, Nico, I think we've got 7 mil to hit Melbourne town up to Saturday, and then maybe like a little 2 mil dusting throughout the day on Saturday. How do you think the track's going to play with that in mind? Caulfield always needs a bit of a drink, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'd be expecting maybe a soft 5 if we got that rain, maybe a 6, but yeah, sort of thought if it doesn't come too bad, it might be advantage to be nearer to the rail and sort of forward to midfield. But if the rain does come and they're, worse, maybe 10 mil for the last few days, and maybe the fence sort of chops out a little bit as we've seen recently. So it's racing well, Caulfield. I don't think it's racing to its absolute best, say a few seasons ago, but the last 2 meetings there have played pretty well if you've
considering it's had a workload and a lot of rain during meetings, so it would have been chopped up a fair bit. It's still doing a good job.
Yeah, so yeah, not really sure to be honest. It's just going to depend on how much rain they get. It could change given the millimetres amount.
Outstanding. All right, Caulfield race 1's the first one we're going to have a look at. Lamaro's Hotel benchmark 78. Cracking feed down there. 2,000 metre race this one, and Quantum Cat's the favourite here. One of DK's old sparring partners, $3.60. Denmark, $5. Rise to at $5.50. Flame and Romans, $8.50. Whiskey on the Hill, $9. Corona Lad, $15. Cicino, $16. Aruga Mama coming off a shocking run in the Balaclava Cup, 18 into 16. And then Convener, surprise winner last start, $18. And you got Gold Wolf and much, much better than the rest. Quantum Cat is the horse that we're going to have a look at here at the Valley. Nico in behind him in the purple.
Yeah, there's 2 key lead ups here. This is probably one of them. And then there's the Caulfield race where they went quite hard and Convener got over the top of them late. Whiskey on the Hill's out of that lead up as well. But I thought this race had a bit of depth to it. Stavag had run really well prior to this. Lincoln Rocks has won since. Lording, he'd be right up there in the market in this sort of race. And he just probably peaked on his run a bit late. He was the quickest for the 2. And then to the line, they just got the better of him late. I think Lincoln Rocks will end up being probably like a listed class sort of stayer. And I think that form race just may be a bit stronger than the Caulfield race. So just was happy to sort of dodge the traditional lead up and go with him. I did think he'd be a little bit better at price. I was thinking more like $5 and closer to $3. But he does get a lot of favours here. He draws inside. Miria should just be able to position up from that barrier and just will need a bit of luck. I was probably tipping this one to stir up Bold or DK with Maria on first go down in Melbourne. But I thought if he can just work his way through the field and in a race with a little bit of tempo, hopefully he can just peel off the fence at the right time and be strong late.
TK? Yeah, no, I got nothing to say about this one. I was very surprised, and I thought, this is going to trigger DK.
Sorry, DK, but I think this is very well named to this horse. I'm sorry. I think it's a milk drinker. I do. It won't go past. It won't go past. It wouldn't go past that day. I gave it a chance after I forgave it not running past in Sydney at 2400 when it went up there. Should have dashed through and won. It didn't. And then wouldn't go past. I know they say it peaked the other day. Wouldn't go past him. I think. But you can say first up at peak, but I don't know. Is this horse? Is he forever running on? We'll find out on the weekend. Marrero, barrier one. I mean,
well, I thought that actually might be a tick with Marrero because he can seem to get a little bit out of these horses, changing their legs and all those kind of things. That's what he's good at.
I did note that. I did note Marrero might be a good rider. If there's someone who can get it to go, it'll be Marrero. But what do you think, Walt? I remember you know this horse that day ran in Sydney.
Oh, I'm a bit like you, and then there's it's all about price, isn't it?
Yeah,
found a weak race. There's no big stars in this. I don't think.
Yeah,
he might have caught him on the right race.
Yeah. Start the day back in this horse. Jeez, Nico, you love bloody. Oh man, put in the den, the coffin too. Oh yeah.
He's a sicko, isn't he?
I wish Jamie Carr was on it for extra. It would have been good. But no. I'll be watching it with great intent and cheering for whoever backs it.
Caulfield Race 7, 2,000 metre MRC Foundation Cup. I think it was called the Naturalism once upon a time, but it's hard to follow these race name changes. St George, $4.40. Immediacy, since the show, we've come on the show.
It's a stitch up, right? He's got the 2,000 metre daily double.
Who?
Nico.
He loves it.
Oh, my God.
He just does any race that Think and Fly might qualify for. He does the form.
I thought you
out.
must have put this in because I see number 13 there.
No. The map. Hasn't it lifted since I jumped off it? Immediacy, this has been a big cruncher since we started the show. It's been 7 into 480. Someone's just absolutely smacked the price, walloped it. Q Tempster is 7 into $6, just fine. From your camp, Walt, $7. Positivity, that's what you sprinkle on your brekkie. Walt, $9. Gear Up, $11. That's a Diddy Party. The map, $13, and you got Future History, $14. Frank Agardi, Frank the Tank, $15, and you got Banker's Choice, $18. Fancy Man, $21. I made Ladonda V, Penny Wecker, and Akita Sushi, who you were the underbidder on, Nico, trying to just buy every stayer in Australia. I can't remember what the replays we're going to follow here is Gear Up, I think. Annabelle, Jamie Mott.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good platform run for this 2,000 metre event. This was a fast run 2,000, dominated by Duke DeCesar and Young Werther. I think if either within naturalism, they'd be right up there in the betting. He was first up here, had some improvement to come from the yard. He won second up last campaign at 2,000 metres, beating Mancane and Carini. So you can try that form in. I thought he was pretty strong to the line here for a horse that sort of chased that fast tempo and was first up. So I think Duke DeCesar will run a real good race in the Underwood. I think that sort of platform that these two horses will have will serve him in good stead for Saturday. And in a race where St George, Q Tempesta, even Just Fine, a few of the other key market elects, they come through slowly run races, and there's a chance that St George will need a lot of luck from the draw, and even Q Tempesta, who was really good late, but he's a massive horse, Q Tempesta, and I think if he gets sort of held up in any sort of traffic, he might struggle to get his action back. So I thought Gear Up in a race where Just Fine probably finds the lead, and then he might slot in, second, third, or fourth. He should have every possible chance here. He loves 2,000 metres. He really turned around his form last campaign. I don't know if he quite run out a strong 2,600 in the Roy Higgins, but he was right there in the finish. So I think he's just really set to peak here, second up, and following a similar profile to last campaign where it was apples to apples, track and distance DK. So I thought he might just get the absolute PR. And if you're looking to back a horse each way on the day, it's a tough day. He might be one you could sort of pencil in as running a really strong top 3 chance. There may be horses here that are better than him, and say if St George gets lucky, he might get over the top of him late. But I think he'll run the race of his life here, Gear Up. So happy to have something on, maybe more the place than the win. But if you're playing exotics or something like that, he has to go in, I thought.
Nico, was he nominated for the Newcastle Cup, this horse? In all seriousness.
I don't think he was. So I think it's been the plan straight to go the naturalism. So we've had a lot of looks at the Newcastle Cup, and they only had 10 noms. So I think they've had 9 acceptors and 10 noms. So that race was down. And I think it's because there's the Kingston Town, there's the Underwood, there's the naturalism, and a Newcastle Cup all within 2 days. So it's not going to happen. But someone's got to look at the programming there because they're sort of cannibalising each other a few of those races, and that was the thing with the all-in market. Immediacy punters would probably look at, I think it was $26 or $16 or something in the all-in, because he wasn't going to get a run when they sort of did the ballot for this race. He was way down in the order, and then a few of the horses have sort of split. So there's a few punters there that probably rolled the dice and taken a long price him. He looks right in play and should be well suited, dropping down from 59 kilos down to 54. He looks a bit of a deadly horse, but again, he's probably going to be back in the field. But if it is a fast run race, that will suit him, because we saw the best of him in that Autumn Classic where they went quick and he just murdered them. So yeah, he's a talented horse. He'd probably be the one I'd want to be on for a Caulfield Cup, given this is the golden ticket. But Gear Up should get every possible chance and be in the finish.
DK, thoughts here? I've got a fair few, but you go first.
I just got one now. Immediacy sort of appeals to me. He's a good horse, this horse. I remember he bombed me. I was on Dragoon at Good Thing and a maiden at Cranbourne, and this thing bombed me late. And then Curry got off it and said, mate, this thing doesn't know what it's doing. And it's just got raw talent. So I did all that in the first prep up there against Riff Rocket, won those races, went up to Sydney. It was a terrific return coming around him at the Valley. I think this is in for a big spring, this horse. So, 1,500 to 2,000. He'd want to be good in this, but as you said, there's been money for him. I reckon he's a real nice horse, this horse.
I think in the Pericles race that you nailed a couple of weeks ago, Nico, Pericles, everything just panned out for it. It was like a bit of a boat race, really. He just sat behind the speed, and the two horses that Walt Nice sort of spoke about, and I think we all sort of touched upon, Immediacy and Miramasa, I thought they were perfect pipe openers. And I think the one thing with Immediacy that I like here is Trent and Nat usually train the wheels off him. So 1,500 to 2,000 metres, that camp, no worries for mine. And I'm a little bit disappointed that the market sort of found him while we're on air here, and I thought 750, and there was some 850 earlier this morning, and I was thinking, oh, beauty, they're gonna bet $10 this horse, and within a blink, someone else has just gone absolutely wallop. Could be your man Aussie.
Could be one of your robots.
No, Aussie. I think this is an Aussie horse. I think
he's got about 9 in the race.
I think Aussie's got about 10 runners across the weekend, and 5 of them are absolutely red hot. And I think St George, I'd probably want 2,400 or maybe even a Melbourne Cup sort of distance for St George. I couldn't dive in at 440 second up here. I think it's a bit of a trap race for it, perhaps, especially with Jay Spar, as our great mate Jay says a party says, barrier 2, that's
inside
sticky.
Immediacy, $10 was an auto bet, wasn't it? 550, you got to think about it just because it's second up. That's the only reason. But I think, I agree with you and DK. It's the right horse.
What about Just Fine? It looks like it's got the perfect, speaking of platforms, beaten 4 via Sustina, Buckaroo, only beaten 2 lengths, just goes to the top. And is the horse back with us? Because last prep was
she might have
in
killed
here
it
beast, wasn't
prep.
it?
She might have killed it, and I'll put it out there that I don't want any more hate mail. So when I say you can work out yourself whether I think that's Gay Waterhouse or the rider. But yeah, the horse doesn't look the same at the moment. It definitely had the pattern in its favour the other day. Buckaroo sat outside it and beat it. Yeah, jury's out. Wouldn't surprise me if it ran well, but probably wants a bit of help with a pattern or something like that.
And now it'll be interesting to see if fence is on or off. Let's have a look at market-only Underwood Stakes. Race 8, 1,800 metres. I think it's a Group 1. Might lose its Group 1 status, and we might just handball that one over to the Everest. Pericles, $3.10 favourite, off a complete PR last time. Placed the carousel for Friedman Zara, $4.60. Buckaroo, $6. Off pretty much a PR as well. Faulkner Park, $8. Coco's Sun, $13. Duke de Sessa, $15. Moonamek, $18. Deny Knowledge is a bit of a pest, isn't it? 31 into 19. Bois de Jean, $21. A bit born again, that horse. Vow Declare, $34. Hueta, $34. And then Knight's Choice is the big price there, 51 into $34. And it's got C. Williams. It's got a motor, that horse. Anyway, no replays. Form colliding from all over the shop. Any thoughts here, Nico?
Yeah, I think Pericles deserves to be favourite, but if I was going to be looking forward to, say, a Caulfield Cup, Faulkner Park and Place the Carousel would be the 2 for mine. She's jumping out like a rocket. Place the Carousel. Settled last time, didn't jump out. Chimed in probably 600 metres out, was stronger through the line. They don't trial much better than what she did there at Mornington, and even her trial prior to that at Cranbourne was very good also. So I think she might have come back a better horse. She's got the form lines around Via Sustina last campaign. They ran her in an arc when she was overseas. So they've obviously got a massive opinion of her. I think they bought her for close to $7 million, I was reading earlier in the week. So yeah, they'd be hoping to get that return back. The question mark is if she's going to have sort of like a without a fight sort of style run here where she's out the back and near the line, and it's probably a great Caulfield Cup trial. Falconer Park's probably in the same boat. He's going to need a fair bit of luck from barrier 2. He's a horse that can be a little bit slow away at times also, so he's going to have a few things probably go his way. And he is going to have another run in the Turnbull, then probably to the Caulfield Cup. So you'd expect him to probably improve. So that probably leads all roads to Pericles. And then Buckaroo with Marira, how do they sort of ride him? Do they send him right forward? He's drawn 10, Pericles in 11. Does he get straight on the back of Blake Shin? So yeah, I thought that lead up that we showed before that replay, Duke DeCessor, he comes out of that. He's 2,000 back to 18. They put Bates on. He probably sits second and chases Deny Knowledge, and I think you'll get past her. So I think you'll look the winner at some stage, and Pericles might be off his back. And then it's just a question mark of, the real, probably A-grade horses here, how forward they are and things like that. So it's probably a bit of a yard race for me, but Pericles on top, they definitely haven't missed him. But I thought Duke DeCessor, if you're looking to play some exotics, he is one you've got to throw in because he'll get another one that will just get a massive PR. And if the track sort of plays how it usually does Underwood Day, it can be a big advantage to be on speed.
Yeah, it gives me the heebie-jeebies, this race.
And here comes Placetus Carousel.
You think? Yeah, it was a bomb trial. I tend to agree. DK?
Yeah, no, it's the Tros Nico's supposed to break the trials. It's just whether it be forward enough first up. But yeah, God, it's a nice horse, and they're always better with the run. What they've done, the prep, those imports of the prep under their belts. So Freedman's would have a better handle on it. Great Camp, better handle on it. Coming back second time round. Yeah, Zara, it'll be his horse for the spring, you'd think, for the big one. So yeah,
without a fight. This is where they kicked off without a fight last time. So
drawn well. It's got a lot in its favour. I think that sit sprint. Visesteina's obviously shown she's very good at that. The first up last time, and Forgive, a different horse this time in, I think.
All right, let's have a quick look. Oh, make sure to check out Nico's yard. Nico's on fire yesterday at Sandown, so he'll be out there braving the elements again, as he was last Saturday out at Flemington, which was cats and dogs day with the hail. So he probably would have needed his nose shovel there. But make sure you check out Nico's yard on Twitter and get his analysis on Saturday. Cracking card at Randwick. I think it's a meeting that I've got probably more confidence in, and the sun is beaming at Randwick, so it'll be interesting to see how much they water the track, but it might need a little bit of it with so much good weather around. First race we're going to have a look at here is the Bill Ritchie 1,400 metre race, and I think this is a win and you're in for the Epsom, and Tom Kitten's a favourite here, 370. Off a little bit of a freshen. Amenamal's first up, $5.50. Scarlet Oak, $7. Gringotts, $7.50. Freedom Rally, $9. Kintyre, $16. Matcha Latte, $18. Cafe Millennium, $20. Rustic Steel, $21. And then Airman, $21. And Chawton Lane, you got Roots, Fearson, Felix Majestic also in the field. You'll like a trial here. I think it's another one of bloody Aussie's horses here in the Aussie colours. Third, just in along the fence there.
So got out to Oaks sort of trip, 1 or 2,000. Did it all on first prep, and first trial was pretty quiet. But then I think that's Marzu in front. Who else have we got in this trial? There's some pretty fangirls just behind it.
Yeah.
Is that the thing of Bjorn's down the outside that won the Stradbroke?
Think About It, Steffi Magnetica.
Think About It.
Yeah, that's it. Think About It, Steffi Magnetica.
So sharp horses, and look at her, like dead set feet on the dashboard job, trying to not run over the top of them. Yeah, she's got unlimited upside for me, this horse. Gate 1, so much speed again. You probably got Fearsome loses Schumacher, but you've still got Molly Burke on Felix Majestic. That should be enough to consider. There's going to be fast tempo. Amenable's dangerous with the blinkers, but he'll be up there. Freedom Rally got so from a pace perspective, there looks good pressure. This horse should be sort of midfield. The fence always need a little bit of luck from there, but she looks to have a really nice turn of foot. I think firm track suits her. Tom Kitt was great first up. No real knock on him apart from the gate where he gets to, staying at 1,400. That's probably enough to be one of finding something around him or saying he's a little bit vulnerable. I think Amenable is interesting that it's had 2 trials in blinkers and they've thrown the blinkers on first up. Maybe just, I don't really understand it, but looks like it's ready to go. I thought, Scarlet Oak, definitely the clear horse that I want to back, but there's 2 roughies that I'll have something on too. Cafe Millennium's 2 trials have been great. blinkers off, wide gate, no worry for it. It's going to get back anyway. But its trials have been just too good, and it's weird. Its form, like it obviously doesn't win out of turn, but it just goes around at big odds all the time, no matter what. I guess it's its racing pattern too, and I think it did enough last prep and its trials this time in to make sure it goes around at 20s. And McHale, the bottom horse, is a horse that has nearly sent us broke, and it's terribly weighted here, but it resumes with blinkers on for the first time too. It doesn't have them on as a gear change, but it had them on late in its prep and wears them for the first time here. It sort of towed itself to the line in a trial, and it's just dangerous. It's 100 to 1, I think, or 70 or 80 to 1. So it's a winner for me. Cafe Millennium and Scarlet Oak definitely going around winners for me here.
All the bomber trialers. Thoughts? Gringotts? He sort of went to a new level, or the penny dropped?
Tried okay too.
Yeah.
I thought he was well placed last prep. He was a real professional and sort of no knock, perfect draw here. He's had 2 trials ready to go. Just thought Scarlet Oak's got more quality and upside to him, and the Aussie pair there too, right? He's got a little team, hasn't he, at the moment, Aussie, but only Waller's probably got a better team, and I just thought it was sort of well enough found. Like I sort of had Scarlet Oak closer to favourite, to be honest.
53 kilos, complete bomb trial. I can see why you like her. Melbourne boys, make some noise.
DK, you got anything?
No, not really. No, I didn't get that far. I looked at 20 races, but I didn't get to the Bill Ritchie.
Yeah, I thought Tom Kitten's absolutely flying, and he had a really good tick-over trial. Amenable, I could probably see an angle to be against. He just seems like a bit of a goner, Amenable. He sort of started short in that race first up last campaign and got beat, and then he ran well without winning. So I think he's probably a horse you could go looking for others that are better weighted than him at, say, 58 kilos. I'm with Bolt. I'm a fan of McHale. I thought he was going to be like Colding 2.0 there for a while, where I think he might have got gelded or got the blinkers on or something like that, and he just went through the roof, and then didn't have a lot of luck in a few of those group class races up there in Queensland. That's probably the form you got to really look at for this race. A lot of these horses did race throughout the Queensland Carnival and sort of lining up their form there. So Tom Kitten's the best horse. He may be looking for slightly further now than 1,400 metres. He looks set for the Epsom, and he'll probably get in no matter what. So probably doesn't matter to them if he doesn't win this race, because it might even help them if he doesn't from a weight point of view. So there may be some horses here that are potentially have a bit better setup. And I'm like, Walt, I really like McHale as a horse. I think in time he'll make the grade for sure.
Yeah, I like the Cafe Millennium trial as well. He's absolutely humming that horse. Well, I don't think it's a recent trial, but the one prior was amazing. So don't know what he wants.
Yeah, that was against like
Storm Boy,
and no, it might have been Storm Boy, and it was the other
Caballas.
Giga Kick, wasn't it? It was Giga Kick. It might have been Lady of Camelot. Anyway, whatever. It went like a rocket.
Yeah, geez, the big giraffe could be anything if he's grown into himself and figured it all out. Always been a big fan of him. So that is an absolute belter. And I'm a little bit with Nico there. Amenable's just an absolute tease. So I used to be president of the Its fan club, but dropped off him completely.
It scares me when they give him a test out in blinkers in trials and then resume in blinkers, and it doesn't make sense to be throwing the kitchen sink at this horse first up in this race. So yeah, it doesn't read well.
Might have lost his zest.
Maybe.
Yeah, easy to do. Randwick race 7 is the T Rose Stakes, and we've got Autumn Glow. Whoa, don't know what's happened here. What is it? What's happening here? $1.80 into $1.50.
Is that right?
Well, I don't know. I'm a bit startled. $1.80 into $1.50 there. Autumn Glow. Manal is $4.40 into a lot of percentage on the board. I'm not sure what Tristan's doing here, but $3.40. Amina $6. Erno's Cuba $8. Lazuro $11. Elmore Zillow $12. More Territories $19. Snow in May $20. Might have taken a big bet and haven't reset their board yet. So pretty uncompetitive betting there. I have to give him a tap on the shoulder there, but let's have a look at it.
There's definitely evens around.
Something's going on there. They might have laid a big bet and need to reprice. So maybe the night shift apprentice has turned him right off, and you haven't woken up here. But let's have a look at a couple of the replays. The first one here is Autumn Glow, and this is a belter in the Arrowfield colours for Mr. Massara and co.
So yeah, she's just a beauty, isn't she? Just goes through. It's not even how but she had every chance here. It's just what she does. That looks like she's got no bottom. I mean, they haven't got near the bottom to her here. The further a race goes, the better she looks, the better her action gets, the better she looks opposed to the other runners in the race all the time. She's just a real beauty. I can't wait to see her get to a mile.
Amina, Manal, Lazura in this one. So decent race.
They're all pretty much in this, and they got back a little bit, maybe opposed to Lazura, who had the best run, sort of 2-3 back the fence and got the run through. You can see the bunch finish between these. Even More Territories didn't look like it was going that great. El Morzillo was dragged out of the race and is probably the strongest late. There's a huge look at it. It's like the Flying V. I think they've all really caught up with Manal, even though she's probably got a short half head on them, as she showed there. Getting out to 1400 probably suits. She's well set up. I don't think she's made a big progression. And even though Autumn Glow's coming through, maybe lesser form, she's the one that looks like she's got the raw talent and upside that's just would blow these horses' heads off. Gate 10, what does he do? There's no leader. There's nothing that even remotely looks like a leader in this race. It's interesting that Gay's got no runner. Do they send it forward? I think if J-Mac gets his way, he'll just be punching her forward and she'll just be too strong for him. I don't think they can beat her unless she's regressed. That's her only Little Query's first preparation, and if they ride a stone cold trying to get her to the Group 1 next start, maybe. They're your only two issues. I'm not bullish at taking evens like we were last time. It just sort of looked a bit of a gimme. If she drew a soft draw, I would be here. But, after 50 metres, you probably know your fate either way. And she probably can still round him up from the back. I think evens is very fair. I just don't think it's a complete gimme, but it's close. It's close. If she goes forward, it's a gimme.
Well, and I think Randwick's a lot better than, say, a Rosehill scenario. So 1,400 metres for this horse, she'll just absolutely eat it up, where a couple of those in the Silver Shadow, they looked a bit chinky, and whether they all want 1,400 metres, not sure. And, Lazura had it all her own way, but I thought she was pretty good given she was first up there.
Yeah, good. And she could lead here, right? And control completely. Someone with a bit of go here will be able to do that. Even Erno's Cube was really good first up, and I don't think it's a 1,400 metre horse, but it's got a soft draw, and if they really walk, it does have a nice turn of foot. So it's a horse that could run a race at odds. I thought Erno's Cube, even though I think Dildo's last winner was, a Scone Maiden about 3 years ago, but he'd drawn just too well, and the horse could probably lead if it wanted to. So it's an interesting race tactics-wise, but I think Autumn Glow is just better than them. It's just a matter of whether, it's a victim of circumstance here.
I think I found the Dildo over the next couple of days. I think he'll break his drought.
I don't think he's going that bad. I'm not having a go at him at all. He's strike rate wise, he's just not having his best run, and I think he'll do fine on this horse. No trouble at all with the rider.
Yeah, I thought the interesting thing with the favourite was she's getting to Randwick for the first time, and she goes Schiller and K-Mac to J-Mac. So there's two things that could definitely improve her, and she probably doesn't have to improve even at all from a ratings point of view to win this. So, like Walt said, it's just how much upside does she have? It could just be endless.
The thing I heard about that when she won the other day was how kind McAvoy was to her. Like, he knew what he had under the bonnet. He's coming to himself. I better not to get to these too quick. I've got all heaps covered. And he just sort of half grabbed hold again, even though he's sort of riding her along at the furlong. And then he let her go, and then she just sprinted away. Like, she's got, so haven't even opened her up there, like, wait till J-Mac, gets she's going to go enormous one day.
He's too smart too. He'll get on the back of one of these bloody horses, whether it's Manal and Amina or whatever it is. He'll find a way, or he'll jam it straight to the front, and you'll just go, it should have been $1.10. Yeah, he's very good, J-Mac. Not as good as J-Car, but he's very good.
Oh, here we are. This is the one we've all been waiting for. The Randwick Race 8, the 7 Stakes. This is the $1 million race to upset the apple cart of the Mackay Diva Stakes, and now the program's out, so it doesn't matter anyway, and it's just pissing money up against the wall. But here we are, and here we have it. It's Fangirl, $2.20. Zagotcha, $3.80. Royal Patronage, $5.50. Hinge, $10. A Dozy, $10. Detonator Jack, $12. Major Beal, $21. And better the rest. Let's have a look at the favourite spin around. I thought it was a bit of a Waller Barrow trial. Went right back and just sort of given a pipe opener here. And you can see Via Sistina sneak up on the fence. But, had a bit to do here and just couldn't quite reel them in.
Wasn't his best ride. He probably stayed in too long if he wanted to come around him. And if he stayed in, he probably had to try and do what Via Sistina did and cut through him. Arguably wins either way, but she did peak late too. Zagotcha had the best run you've ever seen in your life. She probably gets it again here, second up a mile. Who does it suit better, Zagotcha or Fangirl? And Fangirl's drawn to be last again. And, Royal Patronage is the fresh horse on the scene who comes off a an easier race, arguably, but brutally run, had the right run and put them away, but did it so with a bit of authority and looks to get control here. I would doubt that Major Beale and Royal Patriot will cut at each other. They should just fully control the tempo here, which can't help Fangirl.
Yep.
She's got a huge... She starts short for a horse that doesn't win. Like, she starts wink odds, so not wink odds, but close enough too. She starts in a 6-4 or less a lot for a horse that's only won like 35-40% of races. And with her pattern, second up a mile, she's got to be a little bit vulnerable. She has to be favoured, I guess, but I think Zugotcha's going to sit right behind him and Royal Patriot's going to get outside the leader or lead in control. So I'd have to be with them over her. And obviously not surprised if she rounds them up, or if Rach gets a bit keen on Major Beale and sets them alight early, it'll certainly help Fangirl too. But I think they'll control, and I'd rather be with Zugotcha and Royal Patronage overtaking short price Fangirl.
Yeah, the early shoppers took the $2.50 at the TAB on Fangirl, but I think you'll get that again. I think bookies all over the shop will be thinking similar there, Walt, and yeah, they'll definitely want Royal Patronage Hinge because I got you all running for them at the price, and yeah, I think she's definitely vulnerable from Barrier 9. I couldn't back her at $2.25. I'd rather let her go or bet around her at that stage. I don't know what you boys think.
Early shoppers equals, i.e. other big bookmakers, so they can get it in shorter. Anyway, story for another day.
I agree completely. But the problem in this race, probably $4 and $5.50 is about as short as you want to take anyway. But I'd still rather bracket them than back Fangirl.
If you backed Fangirl first up at 240 v Via Sustina, Riff Rocket, Zugotcha, and it was 1,400, you have to back her again at 220, 1,600, and she's only going to catch Zugotcha. Royal Patronage had everything in his favour last start, and then there's not much sort of in the race outside of that. So it's half put on for her this race, isn't it? It should be called the Fangirl Stakes. Like, it's just a perfect race for her. 1,600 metres, stay in Sydney, everything else is in Melbourne.
But just know what you're going to get. You're going to be last. All right, you just know that's if you're a Fangirl.
If she's anywhere near her best, she'll round them up.
If you're a Fangirl, you back her all the time. You know what you're in for, and you stick with her. So Benny Scarf's launching in, I believe, isn't it? Benny Scarf,
he could get a bet.
Yeah. he can get anything beat. Zardozi, what's happened to Zardozi?
Well, they've put her in this as sort of the backup option, and then she didn't get into the Kingston town, so they may just have to run here anyway. So. Because she double accepted, I think something in Sydney where if you double accept, then
you can choose your priority race. Yeah, then the other one you automatically go to bottom of the ballot.
Yeah, so she's in the bottom of the ballot, probably in the more suitable race. So I would have thought the Kingston Town's a better race for her, but she may end up here. And off last start, you'd struggle to see her really having a big impact here. She may just need a lot further. She was way off the fence though on a fence day, so you could have some forgive there, but. Yeah, she just looks like she wants 2,000.
I'm not sure she's still with us. I think she's gone. Gary gone.
Yeah, she went okay first up. She didn't go as well. She probably, if she's going to do anything, it's going to be 2,000 plus for mine.
Oh yeah, I got big, but I couldn't back her in the Kingston Town either. I think it's I'm very worried for her. Anyway, that's just me. Okay, that's the end of the Randwick preview. Thanks to Johnny, racingwatch.com.au. There's plenty happening in his Discord chat at the moment. We've got young man and old man just going toe-to-toe on a daily basis, which is probably that's a disgust to the rest of the community, but it's entertaining nonetheless. And there's some real good spin-off channels. There's some AFL, there's some NRL, there's conspiracy theory channels, there's
the Cloud Watch channel, which is your channel.
Yes, there's a good Cloud Watch channel for all the cloud seeding. I'm sure there's plenty of that happening. There's lots of flooding around the world at the moment. So no doubt that's cloud seeding.
Plenty of flooding in New South Wales too, but mainly from sprinklers.
Is it? Where?
I don't know. Tunk Curry was off last week after 4 mil or something, and then I think Armidale was off the next day. It was 27 degrees for 8 days in a row before that. But anyway.
I think we spoke about it while you weren't here.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we did.
Saturday will be interesting. Rail true. They obviously pumped a bit of water into Rosehill last week. I think the fence was pretty average there, so it'll be interesting again this week.
Telegram. He also got Telegram channel Walty, and you can get the Telegram stuff. So if you just want that straight to your mobile, the guy that owns Telegram's in jail, I think, in France, but the Telegram app still works, and you can get that for Johnny stuff as well. So
I'm probably connected to him somehow. Yeah.
If you were,
for sure,
someone in New South Wales would find a connection and ban you.
Oh, I heard it. Yeah, I'll tell you another story later that you'll laugh about. Jeepers creepers! I'm a bad man. I just apparently I forgot to tell myself about it. But anyway,
Beauty. All right, quick one. We are a Queensland racing show, so let's have a look at one horse that I think's over the odds, and I might be able to trigger DK here a little bit. Scooty's value bet, I'll call it. It's an interesting card at the Gold Coast. One of the strongest Class 3 sprint races, over 1,200, race 7, is Donny's horse Barassi. I think I might lay at the place. But the race we're going to talk about here is race number 1, and DK's brought a horse down from up north called Pepperdine, and I think the race has come up a little bit strong for him because Flirtamon's a favourite, $2.90, Yeti Moves $3.20, Twigman $9.50, Wahiri Falls $10, Tyndrum Gold $10, the nephew. Now with Kay Lee's ex-Victorian, $12, Silver Warrior, $13, Pepperdine, $15, Dealer Humour, $16, and then Hot Spring Gold. The horse that I think's going sneaky good and probably gets its just right distance here is old sparring partner of mine, Wahiri Falls from the Waller Yard. This is him in the red cap, sort of hitting the line nicely here, and Kabosh wins the race. And he was sort of just off and gone and got going way earlier than Robbie Dolan. I think Robbie Dolan was having a bit of a snooze and maybe a bit of a yodel. And I like the way he hits the line here. And Warrior Falls at $10 against a pretty moderate lot here is a really good each-way bet. Flirtamont, the favourite in this race, it had the absolute PR and made him look pretty awful, actually. The benchmark 70 field over 2,000 last time. I think this is a deeper race, but here you have to take $2.90. Gets a completely different scenario. It's sucked up on the fence last time. Now it's got barrier 9 and S Collet, which is scary. Yeti Moves is going for its probably sixth start at 2,000 metres. It's got barrier 2, so it's got Sleepy J Orman as well. You have to take $3.20 about it. And I think some of the value chances in this race outside Wahiri Falls is a Dealer Humour who's got Talia Fenlon and maybe Hot Spring Gold at big odds there. So there's $16 and $21. And DK's got Pepperdine on trial at 1,800 metres for the first time. Jay Wello, Bailey Wheeler. He's found a great jockey and we'll get every favour from barrier 1, DK.
Yes, no, it was good to get Bailey. We had to hang on there. Had two bookings we had another booking in the race, but they dual accepted, thankfully, the Nishamore. So we got hold of him. We just want to try and get a bit of weight off him. He's been carrying big weights up at Rocky. So it was time to, he's won 6 and 9 up there. It was time to raise the bar for him. So this race presented, he's only a 72 raider and coming from Rocky, which is a bit weaker jurisdiction, but hopefully Bailey can give him every chance. He's bred to stay. If he can stay, then there's a series of staying races over the next month or so up down in Brisbane and whatnot. So see if he can put his hand up there tomorrow, and then he can come back down for some staying races the next few weeks. It was time to raise the bar with him, and Jared's having a nice old couple of days down on the Gold Coast with him, which I'm sure he's enjoying. So it's just a pity we can't get up there. We're not back up there till Everest weekend, but hopefully he's running around then.
We'll catch up with him, won't you, Walt?
I should have by now, but I've been a bit hectic. But Jared might need a spell after 5 days at the casino come Saturday. But Gate 1's really important for that horse too, Pepperdine. I think it's great. He'll just go to sleep somewhere on speed, and hopefully he runs really well because they are usual suspects. It's an interesting race to land in. To be honest, I'll be keen to watch it to see what he does.
Mm. I'll be definitely betting around the favourites, as I said. So I'll be Wahiri Falls as the best result for me, and then I'll have a bit of a saver on a Dealer Humour. But I think this is wide open, DK, and I'll be praying that if something upsets me, it's Pepperdine and they leave it alone. But bit of an asterisk for the shorter races. If you're playing at the Gold Coast, the last couple of meetings on grass, the track's playing well, but it is a bit leaderish. So try and, for the shorter distance races, maybe find something that's going to settle in the first half of the field, because I'm just not convinced it's going to play totally fair for those shorter distance races. So get out there and get amongst it, because I know everyone that I speak to the Gold Coast is rapt that the grass is back in play. So that's a good thing. Speaking of the Gold Coast, Donny has sent in another one here. Last week, Pope Cody won by 5. It was an easy watch, pretty ride from Ormond, and that's him. But Eagle Farm, they've got a meeting corresponding or lining up with the Newcastle Cameron and Cup and and that big feature meeting. So his tip here is Eagle Farm Race 7, number 9, Castilian. I think it's from the Golan yard here. And I think it's knocking the door down. I think didn't have much luck last start and should be right in the mix here. So I'm not sure that there's any markets up, but I had a quick look at that race. And if you can get anything north of maybe $3, I'd be tempted to play into that. But market should nearly be up by now. It's 11 o'clock.
Tab's not up.
On a Thursday. I don't know. That's pretty lazy, I reckon, for an Eagle Farm meeting.
Jesus Christ, 21 runners.
Yeah. Anyway, so good luck for Donnie there. TopSport Steam. Last week, Point King and Mr. Brightside were beauties. Nico's been steaming into the first bet here. Quantum Cat, 750 at 370. So he's cashed up. He's up and about. He's playing with yesterday's winnings from his yard. 750 at 370, Nico. Too good.
Yeah, not my bet, but I wish it was because, there's probably a chance he doesn't get back out to that price. So, maybe took the early overs there, the TopSport punter.
Magic Man on and Nico on, so a bit of confidence there. Caulfield Race 3 is the next bet, and the horse is Poific. This is another one of ours at some stage, $500 at $5 into $440. This has come up pretty strong, I would have thought, with Quickster. Lover Zoo's in pretty good form. Sassy Boom was good last time. Interesting race.
Unless the market takes a real set against her because of the weight, I thought she could really firm up off the jump out. She jumped out super. She's beat Sassy Boom. She killed her when she raced her in Adelaide. She led her on that occasion. She did peak second up last campaign, but couldn't have Quickster for the way she's jumped out. She looks like she's looking for a mile or 2,000 metres already. MD, Team Hayes, are absolutely flying. I'd like to take the $5 like the punter has there, but I think she's the one the market could really get a hold of if they look at her peak ratings and a few of her form lines from last campaign.
Well, this is the Nico's Steam segment today. Caulfield Race 6, number 6, it's Chinny Boom. Have you had a monkey on her at $5, Nico?
Oh, I'd be happy to be Tristan here. Chinny, but this has none. I can't believe it's $5. It should be 50s. Going to get carved up in the lead by Jungle Jim. And then you got commemorative. Jimmy Stowe might be the most interesting runner of the meeting. I thought he trialled pretty well up in Sydney. The last 100 was good. Through the line was strong. She's got some solid form up in Queensland, but she's a mare coming to Moody. It just seems ick to me. So they put the nose roll on her. They put the lugging bit on her. She took a sit in her jump out and she was punched out to the line by the apprentice. Luke Nolan didn't ride her in the jump out. He was on Gallant Sun. Remember that good sale made him win at DK? So I thought that was a good enough lead to suggest they might be trying to ride her a bit more quiet here. And if the apprentice is on in the jump out, she can't be absolutely flying. So, giving her none on Saturday.
Wow, Jimmy Starr back from the dead. Another Aussie horse. Aussie's
got a big weekend. I heard Mars saying on one of those videos it's back a much more confident horse this prep, Jimmy Starr. So, very interesting to see how he's going to go.
Morphettville Race 3, number 9, Bolshoi Princess. This is my stable, Liam Howley. 900 at $3.30, but it's coming from a Cranbourne 64. So you boys would know this horse a lot better than myself.
Yeah, I've done the form on the race because we have a runner in it. She's pretty consistent, Bolshoi Princess, but she's no superstar. So I thought the horse it's definitely call me Vectatious and then maybe even Stand Up For Me went up a little bit of a longer price. But yeah, it's a pretty confident wager early there on Bolshoi Princess. They're hard to catch, Liam Howley's horses. They always look great in the yard, but stable I can't catch, so I'd be happy enough to risk her.
Lot of rock, stable horse. Nico, you guys must be nearly, up to 100 in work?
25, I think, of ours at the moment. So we've been shopping. He was a bit plain last start at Sandown, but he might not have handled the track. It was a real sort of firming conditions on that day. So if they do get a bit of rain on that track, that'd be suited to him. I haven't looked at the weather, but more hopeful than confident. Lot of rock.
That's the end of proceedings here. That's the end of the show. So should be an absolute cracking couple of days. As I said, Newcastle, Eagle Farm. There's product just coming out our ears at the moment. So be burning the midnight oil to get through all the form over the next couple of days. But Randwick looks like a cracker. Weather watch at Caulfield. Leader watch at the Gold Coast. And Pepperdine watch for DK. And should be a cracking weekend of AFL and NRL. So happy days. And big thanks to TopSport, Punting Form, Racing Queensland, all our big sponsors and you boys. Good luck on the weekend, Walt. It's good to have you back. I feel safer now in here with you.
Thanks, Nick. I feel like a truck driver. I think I've done about 10,000 Ks in the last month or something driving. I never want to see another car again. 45 minutes here felt like 3 hours. So, hopefully no more distractions.
Battled on. You've done a good job. All right, see you boys down in Melbourne.
So yep,
have a good weekend. Good luck. All right, we'll see you next week.